So how long did it take, or if any time at all? Because you can't. What you average 17, and like you average something crazy like 17. What was it? Your last year in Philly,
Oh yeah, like,
17,
yeah,
seven, five,
something like that. Yeah, I was like
and
averaging 20 for a little bit. You know, it's a tank sixer, so like some of the games where we take an L and like the numbers would drop, but I was averaging like 17, 18 as a starter. I averaged around 15 points a game or something.
so what was? How long did it take you to go? Because most guys they didn't pick up your option after that.
Yeah,
Which most guys doing that, you getting your option. That's nowadays you getting 25 a year off
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
So like, so what was the transition like? How long did it take you to accept, I guess, going to Indiana right away and then Boston, and like and readjusting yourself from the face of a franchise to now fitting into to a certain role or whatever it may be?
Man, it it probably took like after leaving Indiana and kind of sitting that whole summer and not getting like an offer in a sense, like I was kind of like just sitting back. I'm looking at offers and I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be qualifying for 8.7. I'm getting offered a quarter million to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? So like, like I'm sitting there like, wait, what? Like, what is going on, dog? This don't make no sense. Like, Gordon Hayward averages 10 after these years. Chandler Parson averages 10 a game after these years. They can't shoot for shit. They're getting 20 something million, 30 something million. How did this, you know what I mean? How did this fall off? And I remember sitting there and I'm pissed, I'm like upset. I remember talking to my mentor and he's like, look, bro, you gotta drop all that shit and literally just be accepting of where you're at right now. And it was kind of like the entourage, like when Vinny
When they
Chase was
fell
getting
off,
star
yeah.
roles, he's just like, hey, bro, you got to accept it and move on. It's like, it's not the star role. It's like, I'm not getting star roles anymore. Like, this is literally where you're at right now. This is 4 years ago, everybody wanted Evan Turner. And right now, this is genuinely where you're at. You can literally sit here and say, the world is tripping, or you can accept it and then get better from it and then work your way up. And then when the next contract comes, you say, this is where I'm at with it. And that's literally, I think, I was kind of was open to the fact of doing it when I entered Boston, and then when I was kind of like sitting in Boston, I'm like, whoa, I was drafted ahead of this dude. Like, we're the same class. They're giving him my place. I'm like, bro, I can see if I was like, if these people were better than me. But like now we're just going
Yeah.
by a narrative of being like, yo, he's the guy. So that was one thing where I remember showing up and thinking like, yo, I have to, like I said, in order to be a role player, I'm like, yo, so I'm not getting the offense ran for me anymore. Like, I have to get in where I fit in. Like, they got a young point guard in Marcus Smart. They have a young point guard in Phil Pressey. Rondo's knee is hurt.
Phil Pressey shit.
Yeah, Rondo's knee is hurt until Marcus Smart's develop or whatever. My best bet literally may be to take advantage of the nights where Rajon Rondo is sitting out on, second games of back to back to recover from knee injury. You feel me? So
Yeah.
once it came down to it, and I played a couple roles, and I was kind of like, responding. I started to realize that like it was either take it or not. Like pretty much, you can either accept this role and what we give you, or you just go overseas. And I'm like, bro, most people go overseas, and most people kind of like bitch up. I kind of always just wanted to be real, like with myself. I'm like, look, bro, I'm not going to dip overseas. I'm not going to do anything off the wall. I'm just going to man up, stay, and fight. Like, if I leave now, I'm gonna leave, and people are like, he's a bust, he's a bust, he's a bust. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm gonna show up. If I get my ass kicked, I'm gonna show up and get my ass kicked. But like one thing I always told myself, I was legit like, hey, bro, I'm a top notch dude. I'm only eating filet. I'm only playing in the league. That's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not going to no passport. Nobody's picking me up, shipping me off. Like I'm going back to the park. I'm going to go get my shit, and I'm going to be involved in this somehow. Like I know I'm a dog, and I'm just like, if I got to be a role player in this situation, I know I'll be good enough to make it happen because I knew I was a good ass basketball player. I'm like, at my worst, I'm better than some of these dudes. So like, no, adjust CT, like you tough enough to do it. And I just always just have this weird situation in my head where I'm like, why me? And it's like because you tough enough to do it, ET. Like you got it all. Like that's what I tell like, Jory, how I talk. I'm like, wait, I got it all. I'm
Yeah.
good, baby. I'm good. Like ET can do it. And I think that was one thing. And aside from accepting my role, I think during that time I matured a lot as a man. You know what I'm saying? I thought I matured a lot of I mean I'm not the best at it now, I still get stubborn, but I thought I matured a lot of being able to my first real part of life of being like, yo, should I run or should I fight? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fight and get my shit together and, try to, make a lasting career and get to 10 years like I wanted to.
Man, I think it's dope. We talk a lot, and one of the things I love talking to you about is like the mindset that you always put out there. Like you really believe it,
Yeah.
and it's easy. I think a lot of people assume that professional athletes are just confident people,
Yeah, man.
and I feel there's a lot of insecure professional athletes. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's like some people will try and put that in their mind, but the execution
Yeah.
on top of the belief is the hard part. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's definitely dope to hear, your story and hear
Yeah.
you talk like that and actually follow through with it. But I guess my question after that would be going to Portland and signing, getting the check that you
Yeah.
wanted, right? That
Yeah.
was, did
70
you finally
million.
get the
Yeah,
check?
yeah, yeah. That was dope. It was clutch.
So,
That came in clutch. That came in I
so,
needed that. I was like, whoa.
so,
Yeah. I remember. I want to tell that story because when I got the 70 million, not like no flex, but I
yeah,
remember listening, calling my agent, and my agent is like, "Yo, Portland wants to give you 70 million." I'm like, 17,
it's 17.
and he's like,
Facts.
"No, 7D." I'm like, "No, 17." It's like, no, like 17 a year, and I'm like, wait, like dollars, like $70 million, like you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, and I'm like, damn, bro, this is wild. So I called my mom, and he's like, I said, Mom, I'm gonna sign to Portland. You got to keep on a low, but it's gonna be for 70. And she's like 17. And I'm like, no, 70. She's like 17. I'm like, no, like a 7 and a D, like 7D,
Seven
7D,
and a D.
and it's 7D.
7D.
And she just literally said, "Oh my God." And I'm like, yeah, like we supposed to go to Portland in 3 days. I just can't die. I gotta get there, sign that paper, and we good. Like, like right there, the money went to my head. I'm sitting there like, oh, like you know what I mean? I'm like what? Like, and that, you talk about a cool moment, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying like I came from a situation like humble beginnings, but I was just blessed because that was one of those times where we skipped through a lot. But during those 2 years, I went to Boston just trusting in myself and trusting in adapting and opening up and trying to try new things and trying to be like try to fully get coached and trust people. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know because when you come from the background you come from, it's Darwinism. I'm only successful because I comprehend Darwinism, like survival of the
Yeah.
fittest. Like they say like rap or you got a wicked jump shot to make it out. Bro, I had a crazy 16 when I was 15. And I had a handle. Like I comprehend Darwinism. So like when it comes down to it, like I'm just glad I was able to overcome some dark down times and be able to make it and get to a point like Portland and realize like what, hard work and focus and restarting can do.
That's one of them moments that I think whether you done
Yeah.
got 70 million, which most of us have not, but even if you didn't, that's one of the moments we can all relate to
Yeah.
because like everybody done dreamed of that.
Yeah.
So when you hear the story, it's just like that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
As a basketball player, was it like vindication because you got the 70? Probably not how you envisioned you was going to get it, as a number 2 pick. Like, you probably saw yourself as being on the Steph Curry level as
Yeah.
a basketball
Yeah.
player, whatever it is. But you got it as a role player and you got to go play with Dame and
Yeah.
CJ and, your role was lesser, but you getting paid.
Yeah.
So as a basketball player, was it vindication or was there something left to be desired even though you got the check you wanted, but maybe your role wasn't exactly what you thought it would
I
be?
think it's like a 50-50 thing, to be honest with you, because it's humbling. We talk about sacrifice a lot, but it's humbling. It's one thing to do something on your own and push yourself to it, but it's another thing to sacrifice and do something as a team. And this shit sound crazy, bro, but when you sacrifice and do something as a team, like that shit feel better than anything. You know what I mean? Like it's like, damn, like we really, like I said, you get outside yourself to trust people in a locker room, to go into a locker room filled with competition and everything like that. Like for people to get outside themselves for the betterment of others, for people to comprehend when I'm in Boston to be like, yo, we're the role players. Isaiah's the star. He shoots all the rock. We guard his man. He does, he does it. Camera, TV, pretty face, good cheekbones. Like he gets all the pub and we do all the work. And like, but he comes through in clutch. It's like we understood that was our job, but we took it to a high esteem because it was like, yo, we're playing for something bigger than us. And I think when I got to Portland, it wasn't so much like, hey, I'm getting 18 million, but my role might be lesser. I didn't know my role would be lesser, but I also was like, yo, whatever we can do here in order to win, I know I'm going to go further with the help of them, more so than trying to take a step back and what I did in Philly and end up, flat on my ass. You feel what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I see it all in stride, and I understand timing, and I understand just being, grateful for the position you in. So I was never like, oh shit, 17 million or whatever. It was just vindication, like, thank you. Like, I have 4 years locked up. I should not be having to pick up and move every couple of years. I shouldn't have to be the option to be like Evans, the one that has to go. I always thought I was good enough basketball player where like a team needed me. You understand what I'm saying?